PEGI 18.
Since the launch of the current generation consoles, the amount of remastered versions of past generation games has been huge. It's the new hype in the industry and it doesn't always work out. Metro Redux is a completely different story. You can even say that it's the light at the end of the tunnel. Redux combines two of the most underrated games of past generation and brings them to life in a beautiful way on this generation. If you haven't played them already, this is a version you simply need to own. Metro Redux is home for the original Metro 2033 game and its sequel Metro Last Light. Both games are remastered, but both games stay true to their original formula. The Metro franchise is a very emotional and story-driven franchise. It's inspired by the original Russian books and takes you to the post-apocalyptic Moscow. Due to the higher level of radiation and the harsh winter, survivors were forced to go into the metro tunnels beneath the city. Unfortunately, their misery doesn't stop there. The tunnels are home to a new war zone where the Soviet and Fourth Reich army are fighting for control. If this isn't bad enough already, survivors also have to face dangerous mutant monsters and a new threat called the Dark Ones. So it's a very personal story, since our main character Artyom travels through the tunnels and meets people of every race and standard. It's not a Call of Duty-like story, it's a very personal and thus emotional roller coaster, and this has, of course, some important effects on the gameplay as well. So this means that you won't play the Metro games as a run and gun game. The Metro franchise isn't about shooting that much, even when it's actually played as a first-person shooter. The Metro franchise is more about exploring the chilling environments and taking down your enemies using stealth. Why would you try to take down a group of enemies with limited ammo while you could also shoot out the lights to sneak around them in the dark? Both Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light offer more stealth-based gameplay. In Last Light the pace is a bit higher and you'll need to fire your gun a bit more, especially on the stronger enemies, but all in all, both games are all about the stealth and of course also the dark mood. The best part of both games is without a doubt the environment. As you might have guessed, you'll spend most of your time in dark metro tunnels, but those tunnels are filled with interesting characters to meet. Aside of the tunnels, you'll need to venture outside from time to time, but this is very dangerous, since you'll need to keep a close eye on your gas mask and its filters. But the sight is definitely worth the trouble. Outside, you'll find some of the most beautiful game worlds ever created, filled with dangerous monsters. Going back inside the tunnels always feels like a letdown. And that's exactly how the game wants you to feel. So everything I spoke about until now was just to give you guys an idea of what type of franchise Metro really is. Now let's talk about the improvements in this Redux version. First of all, I must say that Metro 2033 changed the most compared to the original game. The most obvious change is of course the new and improved graphics. The graphics are on Last Light's level and truly offer a different view on the events of Metro 2033. Since the lightning, characters and monsters all look better, it's easier to navigate through the dark levels. Players of the original game were often frustrated because they couldn't spot the enemies in the dark environment. Those times are over for good. With the new graphics, you'll find your enemies in no time. Some might say this is bad for the tension in the game, but believe me when I say, you'll still feel that familiar tension while playing this Redux version. Aside of the graphics, there are some less notable but fun changes. First of all, you'll be able to play both games in two different settings. You can play Survival, where you won't find that much ammo, and thus create a more scary environment, or you can play Spartan, where you can play the game with more ammo. Basically, two modes are available for both games, so this results in a perfect balance for the two games. Fans of Metro Last Light can finally play the game with less ammo, while Metro 2033 fans can now replay the game with more ammo. Or of course the other way around. Aside of those two new modes, the Redux version also introduces a higher level of difficulty for the veteran player. And that's not all. The AI of the enemies also got improved with new patterns and movements. All enemies received sharper eyes and ears, making it hard to pass them, even on the normal difficulty level. The improved AI forces the player to think outside of the box in order to survive. Your stealth skills will be tested a lot, while running around like Rambo will result in a quick death. Again, this is all in the benefit of both games. The last improvement is that Metro Last Light also includes all the DLC that was released for it since the release date. All in all, it's easy to say that this Redux version is without a doubt the most complete Metro experience you can ever own on one disc. Replaying both Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light really felt good thanks to this Redux version. It brought me back to the beautiful and yet dangerous world of the post-apocalyptic Moscow and let me relive the emotional story of the original games. If you never played the Metro games before, this is the best way to dive into its world. Metro Redux offers the most complete and most fun Metro experience out there. If you have played the original games before, you'll need to ask yourself if you want to relive the adventure or not. Both games got improved a lot, especially Metro 2033, but you'll really need to ask yourself if it's worth buying again. That being said, Metro Redux is worth every second of your time if you're interested in a more story-driven first-person shooter/stealth game. And that's why we give this game a solid 8.5 out of 10.